Right, I'm going to show you how to make boiled rice like they make in the takeaway. This is basmati rice. Basically you want to wash it first. I'm not going to tell you how much to put in. You put in what you want. It doesn't matter how much you put in. It's the technique, not the quantity. Obviously this is going to swell up, so make sure you've got a pan big enough so once it does swell up it's not like going to overflow the pan. We're swirling it around, you're making the grains rub against each other, and we're getting rid of the excess starch. Any dust, anything, obviously you don't know where it's come from, any rice. I'm not saying there's diseases in it, but obviously we're going to eat this, so the cleaner we've got it, the better. You can see how milky the water's come. This is all stuff that would be stuck to your rice, what you'd be eating. Right. At the takeaway they used warm water. As you're emptying this out, just give the pan a little bit of a shake. First thing to see. Give it a bit of a shake so the rice drops down. Now on in. I don't know if you're picking this up on the video, but you can see like scum on the bubbles. I don't know what it's called, I'm calling it scum. The warm water will just release that little bit extra. Same again, as you're getting rid of the water, give the pan a jiggle. I don't know why it just seems to stop that rice jumping out of the pan when you're trying to drain it. Now, you're not trying to judge the water. So again, this now is warm water. Just speed it up on the hob, that's all. There you go. Plenty of water. Right, this is going to go on the hob now. Just down that. Into this, because of the volume of this, I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of oil. It's not a science, it's rice. This isn't the important part of it. And to that I'm going to add about just over a teaspoon of salt. That's going to go on the boil now, on the full heat. Because we've used warm water, it will come up to the boil fairly quick. You don't want it on a mad rolling boil, but you do want it on a boil. And you've got to test the rice. It's not got to be fully cooked. When you put it into your mouth, the centre of it is going to have a bit of a bite to it. That's when you know it's ready. We're not cooked, but ready at this stage. Right, as this is coming near to the boil, keep stirring it because obviously the bottom of the pan is on the full heat and grains will stick. The reason why it doesn't matter how much water, well, it does matter how much water, you can actually go too little. The reason why a lot of water is added is so that the grains of rice are free to swell. If you're doing the absorption method, which that's another video because that's basmati rice, not basmati, I forgot the name of it, pilar rice. That's a different story again, but for the plain boiled rice, so it's perfect, it needs room to move. Right, it's just starting to come up to the boil. I will tell you this because, like I said to you, it doesn't matter how much rice you're doing, or if you're doing a large quantity of rice for say 20 people, you'll be using a big pot, something like what we make the base gravy in, and the water takes longer to boil, the rice has longer to soak, so it may be where you've just got up to the boil and the rice is then ready. Oh, there you can see the grains, they're already nearly twice the size. So just give it a gentle stir, just all you're doing is making sure nothing is sticking on the bottom. Same again, I can't give you a time on this. I can't say right, leave it for 5 minutes, it's done. As it's coming up to the boil there, I'm just going to turn the heat down. So it's a gentle boil. Right, this is, even at this pan size, it's literally only boiled for like a minute and a half. I'm just going to turn the heat off, otherwise it'll ruin it. Pick some out, take some, put it in your mouth. You don't want to be, you need a little bit of a bite to it. Bit warm that. So from that, to your sink, into a colander. Obviously the bits in there, get yourself a spoon and scrape it out. Okay. Okay. Leave this to drain for about a minute. You basically don't want anything dripping from the bottom. And then back into the pan. I have to go mad with it. If you don't have a pan with a good fitting lid, I do, some tin foil over the top, then put your lid on it to seal it. So then on a very, very, very low light, pop it back on for about 10 minutes, because basically what we're doing now, because the rice isn't fully cooked, you have to keep testing it just so it's still got that bite in the middle. The water that's still around the rice, it's going to steam the rest of it and fully absorb the water, and it should all come out where it's free from each other, separated. Lovely, perfectly cooked rice. Right, I don't know if everybody's got one of these at home or not. Obviously it's for carving meat. If you haven't got one, use a chopstick. If you haven't got a chopstick, use a wooden spoon, but turn it upside down so you're holding the spoon and you're just using the rounded end. Why? Because you're not breaking up the rice. Now this has been on for 7 minutes. You've got to use your own judgment and your own timings. I can't give you timings with this. Basically, take some and taste it to me it's cooked. So the heat off. That's all you're doing. Using this just to lift it, to fluff it. You're just fluffing this. Any lumps, just use the end of this just to separate it. There you go. How fluffy do you want rice? How perfectly cooked do you want it? Like I said, I can't give you timings, I can't give you measurements. I can only give you the technique of how it's cooked. Now, you can use this straight away or leave it in the pan to cool down. Give it about 20 minutes, then fluff it again. And then if you're going to be using it later, obviously put it into plastic tubs and microwave it for a couple of minutes, or put it in your plastic tubs, put it in the freezer. When you come to want to use it, either take it out and give it time to defrost on the counter, or defrost it in the microwave and then give it 3 minutes cooked, and you'll have perfectly fluffy rice. Right, I'm going to be making some onion rice, so I thought I'd just show you after this has been left. It's still warm. It's not hot, but it's just warm. I'll just thought to show you how fluffy the rice is. You're going to get bits of lumps like that, but they break up so easy. Even in the takeaway they get these. So if you want perfect rice, cheers.